Hey, welcome back to the Squishee Sandwich.
Project your voice.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Squishee.
I'm sorry. I can't hear myself.
Okay, let me turn it up. Hold on. But move this closer because I know that you're not. Let me just blow out your ears then. Fuck.
Is this the only time I can be close to the wheel?
This bitch won't get up in my squishy sandwich without a quote. Ain't no need to flex, you ain't even in my zone. You be trying to go, we already on the road. Don't kiss no toes, I be sitting on my throne. Don't multitask, you already on hold. Know when to fold.
Hey, and Patrick is joining us from London.
No, I just got back from London. Am I supposed to be in London?
No,
You're getting back from London.
I'm getting back from London.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you've arrived. We picked you up at the airport.
No, bitch, don't.
The airport.
No, don't.
We held up some dildos for you.
Don't gas it up. I came in this afternoon, and I got back like a day and a half ago from London.
Okay. And then we also have Steve here, one of my besties, my ex-roommate, my weird bro.
Hey, Steve.
As promised, this episode is a veteran-focused one, veteran in transition. Yeah, we have a couple episodes that are going to be veteran-focused, and that's going to be not the main, but we're going to have a lot of episodes that way.
That's awesome.
First of all, I would like to say thank you all for serving. I am surrounded by 3 individuals that have served in the military, and I really, 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 not just myself, but we all appreciate you all for your service. Thank you so much.
And I appreciate you for your service picking me up. You were late, but I mean, I'm okay with that.
Anytime. If you need a friend,
don't call Gladys because she's going to be late.
Thank you for being a friend.
Great.
Travel.
Turn up, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
We went to silent Asian mode.
Do you want Starbucks coffee? I can make you some.
Can you get a brew some?
I'll be all good for now, thank you.
Oh, she has the K-cups. That's fine.
I do.
Okay.
May I have a cup of coffee?
Yeah, I'll have a cup of coffee.
All right.
I fucking love coffee.
All right.
I was like, are you sure you don't want one? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Until you said yes.
By the way.
Are those your customer service tactics?
Yes.
Just fucking attack them.
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't want this? Hey, you fucking want this, all right? You fucking want this shirt. I just want to return it. It's a size 2. I can get you a size down, all right? You want this fucking shirt. I just feel like it doesn't fit. No, you want this fucking shirt.
We're going to fit it on you.
And you know what else you want? Panties with that shirt.
Mary, get the duct tape.
I'm a male. You want panties with that shirt. You're a cross-dressing male. Wear these fucking panties. Put them bitches on.
Exactly. That's what we're saying. Put the shit on.
Fucking do a twirl, dude. Peer pressure over here, man.
It's a bitch.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, you're coming in from London. So Gladys is making a coffee for Steve.
You're making me one too, right?
That's some motherfucking hospitality right there.
Yeah, that's some serious hospitality.
Me and Steve had a bro sesh earlier while we waited on these late bitches. 2 hours late.
I wasn't
That's all,
late.
Patrick.
So I had a doctor's appointment. So this is what I usually do. I typically like to back up. Anytime I'm in DC, I like to back up all of my appointments so that way I'm just squared away. Like I could just get in here, knock out my appointment to go back to New York.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try my best.
Where do you get seen at?
Whitman Walker.
Whitman Walker?
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's cool.
How's their treatment?
It's gotten better. I mean, it was really good, and then it had a low period where it just wasn't good at all, and now it's better.
Well, I watched your interview that you did, and you talked about the team of providers really focusing on your care and how that's lacking on the individual. Do you feel that that's changed?
It's improving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Because it could be... Which one did you watch? HIV.gov or...
The NECP?
Oh, the one from the African one, right? Zimbabwe, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
You were like super animated. I was like, is this bitch on coke or something? You're like, I'm just like, oh my God.
They came in my house and I was like, dope. I was like so excited.
You could tell you were like super excited.
We had like 2 international crews just coming into my like ghetto ass basement apartment in DC in Northeast.
Bitch was glowing.
I was like, let me get my makeup on. One moment. Can I powder up?
Did you really? Because your skin looked really good.
Yeah, I powdered up. I was like, okay, just...
Speaking about treatment, though, I mean, we have Steve here who suffers from Chron disease, and he's in the process of getting out of the military, and you're getting medically retired, correct?
Hopefully. I have my VA appointments all of April, and that'll kind of decide from there whether or not I'm getting medically retired, and kind of falls down to the military on whether or not they think I can continue duty or not.
God, yeah, I remember that phase when now I'm getting out, but it was like literally a year and a half, almost 2-year battle for me with a team of lawyers from DC who volunteered their time to advocate for my case, which is really difficult. And it was during that time that we were roommates.
Mm-hmm. Those were weird but fun times.
Yeah, I remember you when you moved in, and you like a bull in a china house. Like just came in here, dog, best friend Andrew.
Yep.
We're just sitting on the porch smoking cigarettes and just hanging out all the time.
Getting real weird, going to the pool all the time.
I can't wait for that this summer.
Constantly drinking.
Yeah.
I don't really remember too many sober days here. It's not a bad thing.
It's part of the transition, unfortunately,
part of the transition.
With veterans, especially if you're getting medically retired.
Yeah. Whiskey can always cure a lot of things.
So I guess throughout that entire process, how is it mentally? It takes a toll, yeah?
It really kind of kills you from the inside. Getting to watch other people move on with their lives and transition and do things that you would rather be doing than sitting around all day and waiting for something that might not come.
Right, because bureaucracy can be a bitch sometimes, waiting for that chain of command to like...
I have a question and you keep jumping.
Because I was talking. I was following the script.
So, y'all, Patrick and Gladys are sharing a mic today, so it's gonna be a gauntlet race to this because... Patrick doesn't have headphones.
I'm like mid-sentence and Gladys is like...
And Gladys is like miming words next to Patrick's ear. Like,
No, because as you guys were talking, I had a question that came up and Patrick just continued on talking. And I was like, okay, get the mic. Let me let you finish. Okay, Kanye West.
You wouldn't let me finish the question.
Ridiculous.
I'm going to let you finish, but...
My head hurts.
So my question is, because I'm not in the military, does the military usually give you a time frame of when they'll let you out? How does that work?
No. So this is what they told me when I applied for medical retirement for my PTSD: 6 to 14 months. Mm-hmm. I started my process in September of 2016. I didn't get finalized till this January 2019.
And you still don't have that process done.
Oh, they're taking like their sweet ass time getting me my DD-214. Right. It's been 2 months. I had to call in some heavy muscle this afternoon just to get it to happen. Well,
how did it go?
Well, it's honestly, it's actually civilian from my job actually, because right now the command is fucking over my direct hire position because they're holding on to it for so long. And so this guy was on a train somewhere, and he said, "I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna call in myself." So he's a civilian, used to be in the military, but still has a little weight with him, or can pull some weight or whatever with military stuff. So he's gonna call down and let me know. But,
so is it the same for you, Steve?
It was kind of like a different situation. When I first got diagnosed, like I had like a pre-diagnosis. They didn't know what exactly was wrong with me. They gave me 3 options. They were like, what it sounds like is you either have colon cancer, ulcerative colitis, or Crohn's disease. Mm-hmm. And so I had to do 2 colonoscopies. And when they finally figured out that I had Crohn's disease, no one wanted to write up my med board. No one wanted to help me initiate the process. They wanted me to wait the 18 months going through what's called like the limited duty process, where you get 6 months of limited duty, then you apply for another 6 months of limited duty, then you apply for another 6 months, and on that 3rd term, that's when your med board starts. And Crohn's is an automatic medical retirement type deal. Like it's, if you have Crohn's, get out. That's just usually how it goes, unless it's not too severe of a problem that it affects your duties. Mm-hmm. But with me, it was fucking my ability to do anything. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't work in the hospital. I couldn't work with the Marines. I just wasn't healthy enough, and I'm still struggling with it almost 2 years later.
So for those of you that don't know, the medical process when it comes to getting a medical retirement is you have to, like you said, apply one time and then get doctors to basically back your story up and say, hey, he needs to be on treatment for this amount of time. And then after the 6 months, you get reevaluated. And that happens 3 times until the command believes that you're sick enough to get out. And so for Steve, I guess you had one fall through, right?
Yeah. So it took me a lot of arguing with different providers and a lot of specialists at Walter Reed, and getting help from different people all around the command before finally getting the word that, yes, you can start the medical procedure, the medical board procedure. And then it fell through a year and like 2 months later. And they found me fit for duty, even though I was really sick. I am still really sick. They didn't tell anybody They didn't tell my Peblo, who was the person who's supposed to be helping you with the case with all the paperwork.
Right.
They didn't tell my medical board lawyer. And they didn't tell my chain of command until December. They found me fit for duty in September. So my chain of command brings me into the office and they're like, where the fuck have you been? Like, why haven't you told anybody that you were, fit for full? And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I'm finding out right now. I'm sitting here talking to you. I'm finding out right now that I'm fit for full. And they're like, what do you mean? It was like a really long, like, case where they were like,
They accused you of something.
yeah, they accused me of malingering or accused me of basically trying to fuck the Navy over. And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? So once that got, squared away, a couple months later, I had surgery. Yeah, it's just a really long and terrible process, especially for the Navy. The Navy has like really high retention rates when it comes to medical retirement. They have like a 27 to 34% rate of sending people back fit for full. Versus the Army and the Air Force, where it's only 6 to 8%.
And it's wrongfully done the majority of the time.
Yeah, it's
the running joke, I think, is if you want to get out the military, you just gain weight and fail all your physical readiness tests.
Yeah,
and you get kicked out like within seconds. They're like, sure, we'll get you kicked out. You're too fat for the Navy. But when it comes to real medical issues, they try to fight. They fight tooth and nail to make you feel like there's nothing wrong with you and that you can continue forward and carry on with whatever responsibilities they bestow upon you, even though it contradicts everything that the provider has stated that you cannot do.
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of the time people with, lesser problems get out with 30% medical retirement, whereas I'll have ongoing treatment for the next, foreseeable decade of my life.
I had a bad dream. Gets 100%.
Yeah, literally.
It's like that bad.
Literally, like somebody yelled at me, now I cry every night about it. 100%, get on out. Yeah, if there's one thing I learned, it's all about who you know. Yeah. That is all it is.
It really is. And
it carries over into regular life too, but especially in the military, it's who you know. If you don't know who to talk to or who to throw around their weight, you are fucked.
Yeah, pretty much. It's sad though. Like I was fortunate I had a senior chief kind of take me under his wing and really like batted for me and like advocated for me, and just to the point where he sat me down. He's like, hey, HM2, there are people in this command who want to see you get booted with no benefits and just get fucked over.
Yep.
Like flat out told me. And I'm like, why? And they're like, I don't know, but it's just the culture. But he was on his way out of the military. So for him, it was like he was going after those people for that kind of behavior, because it really, like, it's what takes us service members to the tipping point of like suicide or all these like gun issues that happen. Like this, it's that behavior that promotes that.
Because if you committed your time to service and then all of a sudden you're getting out with no benefits at all, that's all you know.
Yeah.
Well, like for me, right, my big thing was I don't feel like the world owes me anything. I don't feel like anybody owes me anything, but I'm owed this at least. I got sick in service. It was aggravated because of the service. And now it will follow me forever.
Right.
Like this will be, and like all like the fallout from it, all the complications I've had from it will be there until I die.
Exactly.
And it's like, I know I'm not owed anything, but I'm at least owed that.
That's the biggest hurdle for us service members to get over, is self-kindness and just feeling like we actually deserve like good care and good treatment post-military, because you are brought up to feel like you're undeserving of anything, and because you're good, but really you're not always good.
Yeah, there's a certain bravado that is drilled into your head.
Yeah. So, and you see that with the World War II vets who still, I've met some that have never seeked out benefits. And so when Steve moved here, I was kind of coming out of on the successful side of that process. So I think and you were just starting it, was it?
No, I was restarting it.
You were restarting it.
When I moved here, I had rebutted my statement for the findings. I had rebutted it, and I said, "Nah, I'm not fit for full."
Right.
They passed it on and said he's fit for full because I was 2 weeks away from my EAOS, and my lawyer says they just wanted to hush me out. They wanted to be like, he's not going to want to do this again. He's not going to want to stay here for another year. He's not going to want to fight this again. And to be honest with you, if I didn't meet my girlfriend at the barbell club, if I didn't move here, I just would have said, fuck it. I just would have left. I would have went on to the VA, and I just would have, you know, basically just let them fuck my life up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have given a shit.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
Wow, what you guys describing it's very different than civilian world, because it sounds like you guys are contained in making you do what they want to do to you guys, and you guys have no say in it. That's really sad.
Well,
listening to it.
Well, it's like one person against an entire army or like one entire organization. Like you have to prove your innocence, and it's in some aspects you're guilty until proven innocent. That's what I'm receiving.
Yeah, it's like you get guilted for seeking treatment. You get guilted for saying, "Hey, I'm not good. I can't do this job right now."
Yeah, well, like, you know, like military is just like one giant fucking circus, and you know, a lot of the times the lower enlisted, we're just the fucking monkeys that are supposed to dance
Right.
at the crack of a whip. Like, you know, fucking get back to dancing and do what we tell you to do. And that's just like the reality of it. You're just supposed to do exactly that. You're supposed to work, and you're not supposed to question, and you're not supposed to get out of line. And it's good to a point. You know, it teaches you discipline, but it takes away a certain piece of your ability to think cognitively as an individual.
Yes. And I think for the first 10 years or first 9 years, that was me until I cracked. Emotionally and mentally just cracked. And I was like, I'm not good. And like that was the first thing I told my therapist. I was like, why are you? He was like, why are you here? I was like, I know something's wrong with me. I've been raped. I've been to war. I shouldn't be this normal or think that I'm normal the way I do. And it just went all downhill from there until I finally was able to come up for air.
And it's like, you don't notice how bad it is until you recognize it.
Yeah.
Like the human body and mind is amazing at just ignoring shit, especially when it comes to pain or trauma, until it all just comes fucking gushing out at once.
Yeah.
As you were saying that it's hard for you guys to recognize the signs, what about your family members, your people around you, your friends? Do they ever recognize?
Well, I mean, we're not around family ever.
Yeah.
We're around each other, and
Your family is
I'm
are your
saying,
shipmates.
yeah, it's our shipmates, our fellow
And they're
service
going
members.
through the same mental. They're kind of drinking the Kool-Aid too, and so they're collectively thinking we're okay. Like if you're not okay, we're gonna get through this together.
Or think about it like this: they're in a position where it's like, if they agree with you, what the fuck can they do?
Yeah.
You know, like they're not the one pulling the strings.
It seems as if like with the excess stressors of like having to deal with this process of proving that you need to be medically retired, that all of that additional stress just only hurts you.
Yep. Stress is a huge thing for people with Crohn's outside of diet and lifestyle. Stress is probably the biggest thing that's like, it can really fuck you over. It can send you down a spiral of sickness faster than anything else.
Right.
Are there other misconceptions about Crohn's that you think normal people just wouldn't believe? Like for me, when I think about Crohn's, I think about diet. I think about I hear gluten-free a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But what other misconceptions are there?
There is no proven diet that can help people with Crohn's disease. There is no proven anything because it's like a common cold. It's incurable because it affects people in so many different ways. It comes in so many different forms.
And it's not a virus, is it?
No.
What is Crohn's exactly?
It's autoimmune disease.
Okay. That's based in what part of your body?
Digestive?
Small intestines,
Yeah.
sometimes a large intestine, and sometimes a colon. That's where it would. Usually, if they find disease in your colon, it's because it's starting to form into cancer.
Okay.
Have you gotten any surgeries
Yeah.
for your Crohn's disease?
Yeah, I had 1.5 feet of my intestines pulled out on January 22nd.
Of
And
this year.
yeah.
And that got fucked up, didn't it?
No, I had a colonoscopy before that got fucked up,
What
which I
happened?
was awake for.
Oh, whoa, what?
Huh?
Yeah. I was awake for a colonoscopy.
Oh.
I remember sobbing and being like, I'm still here. And they just kept going, shh, it's okay.
And this is a military facility?
Mm-hmm.
You know
What did the doctor say, though?
what?
I couldn't say much. So when Juju found out,
So Juju's your girlfriend, Juliet. Yes.
yeah, Juju came through and she fucking chewed out. It was in 2005. She literally sat him there and yelled at him for about 10 minutes in front of all the other nurses and doctors because I was so fucked up off the sedatives that I just didn't want to say anything.
So you're basically emotionally numb, but you weren't physically. You were awake during the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
I was just crying. Like I could feel it inside of me going through. And I told them beforehand, they have my medical records, that I don't respond well to sedatives. I can stay awake through them. I need general anesthesia. Because I've done like 5 colonoscopies. You know, you get the fucking hang of it after you're awake for the first one.
So after your 4th one, this being your 5th one, the doctor decided not to listen to you.
Mm-hmm. And they put you in what's called a twilight zone, where you're sort of awake, but you won't remember anything. You're like sort of, it's like a deep sleep almost.
Okay.
Well, that's like when I was a kid, I was in Alaska and I have a genetic skin condition called granuloma annulare.
Mm-hmm.
So they like cause like, and I'm showing everybody, but they cause like skin lesions or whatever.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So like my PCM basically just cut it off. Nothing to numb it, nothing at all, just cut it.
Oh my goodness.
And my dad was pissed, and again he went up to like
well, this is a military facility, right? Because you're military brat. Yeah.
So he went up and he like cursed the hell out of the officer that was performing the procedure, but he was like, "Why would you do that to like a 10-year-old kid?"
Oh my god.
You know, I always tell people, I'm like, people are like, oh man, it must be great having free healthcare. I'm like, that's the thing, right? It's free. That doesn't mean it's quality.
Yeah.
You're getting it for free.
Yeah, like San Diego is a training hospital. I think we're a training hospital.
Yeah, we're a training hospital. Somebody died going in for a routine surgery because a surgeon nicked his liver and he bled to death.
And so fighting malpractice in the military is basically non-existent unless you get a family member just sue them for you. And even then, it's like extremely difficult.
Yeah, you'll have to die before anything happens. And even then, a lot of the time, shit doesn't happen. They just move them somewhere else.
I have a friend who she has literally 2 pacemakers in her body because they fucked up one of her births and another surgery she had, and they left tools inside of her.
This is Walter Reed?
Walter Reed.
Well, you know, my mom had back surgery on Walter Reed, and she's worse off now than what she would have been without the surgery.
Ugh.
Like she couldn't sleep for a month. She had to sleep in a hard sit up, like straight up chair, like we're sitting in now.
Yeah, like I had like a regular procedure. I just needed to get an iron infusion, and they blew out the entire vein tract in my left arm, and just kept infusing the iron. And so for a week, I had just literally like raw iron running through my.
Did your skin change color?
Dude, no, I just looked like Hellboy. My fucking arm, this arm looked fucking jacked. It was so swollen, I couldn't sleep at night.
Oh my God.
I was just laying there, just like holding my arm, just sweating because it hurt so bad. And that's just how it is. Nothing ever happened. And another time I went in for a colonoscopy, nurse completely missed my vein on this arm. And
you guys don't know, Steve has huge fucking CrossFit veins. You can't miss this shit.
Yeah. So literally, like it's literally fucking impossible to miss my vein. She went right through it and just started injecting the IV right into the muscles.
Oh my God.
My forearm looked like fucking Popeye, dude. And I'm sitting here and I'm like,
saline?
Yeah. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, I'm hurting really bad. I'm like, oh, you know, making little groans. And a nurse comes by and he's like, are you okay? And I was just like, no. I was like, could you come take a look at this? And he comes and he's like, holy fuck. And this nurse comes back and she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm putting another IV in him. You're the resident expert IV. Look at what you did to his arm. And she's like, sorry.
That's insane. Yeah, that's kind of what we get used to and accustomed to. But I think more and more people are just speaking out. And definitely platforms like this are one place to really speak out about them because it needs to be known. And it's just so tired where people get fucked over and swept under the rug.
I heard somewhere, maybe this is just a fucking rumor, but you don't have to have a license, a medical license to practice medicine basically as an officer. You just have to go to medical school and have the Navy pay for it.
I'm going to research that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up later because if that's the truth, oh boy. Yeah. Who the fuck am I trusting myself to?
Well, how would that work as military personnel if you're military and you're stationed throughout the world? How does your license in one state transfer to another? Because it could be complex.
Well, I'm looking at it as, if you're in the military and they give you all that training, they're going to make sure that they get their work out of you regardless of if you pass the test or not, regardless if you're a D doctor or an A doctor. And
just because you don't have your medical license doesn't mean you can't look at medical paperwork and stamp some stuff.
They'll put you somewhere.
They're going to put you to work.
Right.
And then you're going to get that one command where they know nothing about your backstory and they're going to put you to see patients and yet you've never seen patients or done an IV in like 3 years. Yeah. But you're the expert and shit like this happens.
Or you could be like me and, be immunosuppressed and they're like, yeah, we want you to work with, extremely sick patients. They didn't give a shit. They're just like, oh, okay, you're sick. When can you get back to work?
Right.
And that's how it went.
So, Steve, you mentioned that you reached out to your girlfriend for support. Was there anyone in the military that you reached out to for support to help you out?
Yeah, I had Renee, obviously. I had The woman who gave me my dog, Luca, who I also lean on a bit too heavily sometimes, her name's Brittany, and her husband, David, was a chief, and I love them both, and, I definitely leaned on them for support, and, basically, like, I really just leaned on the people I knew in the military that I made friendships with.
You're never really taught how to go through this process unless you actually have to go through it.
Yeah, no one tells you like how to even describe it, because not too many people have Crohn's, and so not too many people know about it, how to cope with it. Like a lot of it's just like when people try to help you, they say things like, "Oh, you should try this diet. It will cure you." Like there is no cure. This is a disease. It will be with me.
Right.
There are ways to live with it, and there are ways to live in remission. But when you're at the height of the disease, you don't want to think about that.
Right.
Like, you just want to think of how to get to remission. You don't want to think about life after remission.
Right.
Because you don't know if there will be a remission, because there's no promises.
Right. So you speak about remission.
Well, I was kind of going opposite of remission, but if you don't mind us asking, at the height, at the worst of Crohn's, how was that experience?
Everything hurt to do. I couldn't drink coffee because the caffeine and the beans would burn the ulcers in my small intestine. But I would drink it anyways because I had to stay awake for work. And it would make me violently nauseous. My breakfast consisted of one piece of bread and half a hard-boiled egg. And that's all I would eat for the day, because I would just be in so much pain and so nauseated from the ulcers and the inflammation that was going on.
Right.
That I just couldn't eat anymore. And it involved a lot of shitting, lots of bloody shits, a lot of vomiting too. I was like 167 pounds when I got diagnosed, and then within a month I was down to 141. My chain of command at that time didn't know how to write what's called a non-medical assessment. They basically wrote it saying, I can do my job, I can work in my rate, I can do all these things, I'm a fantastic sailor. And what it needed to say was, this kid's fucking sick. This kid's really fucking sick.
Yeah, when they wrote mine, they wrote that I was actually present at work 40 hours a week for like a year, even though I was actually, they even wrote it in for the time that I was at inpatient. That's how careless chain of commands are about writing these things. Because they're not looking out for your best interest. They're looking out for
themselves.
The best interest, themselves, and the best interest of the workforce that they have and how undermanned they are.
I mean, there are good chain of commands out there, and they're great.
Oh yeah,
in like higher enlisted people, but it's rare to come across.
10 years, my best command was a Kinzer aid station in Okinawa, and that was by far, it was a family. It was the best experience that I could have possibly asked for with a chain of command. But ever since then, it's just bad.
What are your treatment options? I mean, I know a lot of it is reducing stress, diet, but is there anything pharmaceutical or medically that you can do to expedite yourself into remission?
Yeah, so there's corticosteroids, which they give you during flares because your intestines are inflamed. And it's super painful because it's inflamed. And so they give you corticosteroids, and it helps fight off the inflammation, because we can't take ibuprofen. People with Crohn's disease cannot take non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, also known as NSAIDs. So you can take acetaminophen, which is also known as Tylenol, but you can't take NSAIDs at all because they will fuck you up from the inside. And corticosteroids are really, really strong, and they come with a lot of side effects. And for some people, they get what's called moon face. So, I'm Asian, so I can say this. So you look really Korean or Chinese, how their face is just really circle and their cheeks are fat, like that. And you can get basically like second puberty. So you go through a lot of acne. You can get a bunch of acne. For me, I got really bad mood swings. Like, I was like on the fucking drop of a dime, I was just ready to punch holes in walls. And outside of that, depending on the severity of your disease, you can go on to different treatments known as, the two strongest ones we have right now are Humira and Remicade. And Humira is the portable one. That's the one they want to start you off with because it kind of gives you freedom in life to come and go. And it's a auto injector, like a EpiPen. You inject it right into your thigh every 2 weeks, and it's portable, so you can go on vacation and bring it with you. The other one is Remicade, which is what I'm on right now because Humira had failed me, and Remicade is the one where you go in every 2 months, and for some people it's every 4 months. It's like varying degrees, but I go in every other month, and I sit down, and they give me an IV infusion for 5 to 7 hours.
Yeesh.
So I sit around, and they just infuse it into me. I know that processed meat and all that can really fuck you up. I kind of lead mine up to, my dad was a truck driver, and I used to go with him on the truck a lot, and I used to eat at a lot of gas stations, and that's a lot of processed meats. 'Cause I used to fucking love gas station hot dogs, dude. I still do every once in a while. But
Taquitos always get me.
dude, those taquitos, fucking delicious.
Fuck yeah.
The Monterey Jack and Cheese one.
Oh yeah.
Fuck me up, bro.
Those are my favorite.
Fucking, I'm sprinting to the bathroom within 10 minutes of eating it, but it's so worth it.
Oh god, I'll like chow down 4 like down my
Fucking,
throat.
dude, I could beat Usain Bolt to the bathroom if it came down to me eating a fucking taquito. All right, he's got nothing on these fucking legs when I need to go.
You talked about using subreddit as a location for additional resources as well as some occasional support. Have you ever thought about like journaling or blogging about your own personal experiences when it comes to Crohn's?
Yeah, I vent a lot on my Instagram occasionally after, major things have happened. Reddit has a subreddit called, the Crohn's disease subreddit. It's for people with Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, and things of that nature. And it's a great support group because it's people who just want to kind of vent and talk about how terrible things are going. And, it's terrible to say this, but sometimes it gives you the perspective of there is somebody who's worse off. For me, Remicade works, but for other people, they are out of options. They have no options left when it comes to medical treatment. And so they are constantly in and out of the hospital. So you try to be there for them. They try to be there for you. It's a nice community sometimes. And, just seeing other people being like, oh, I did this, and you try it and it helps, it's a nice resource.
That's awesome. And I think I found comfort in that when I was meeting people through inpatient services and other group services. I forgot where I was going with that. The artwork on the for this week's episode is Steve's. He has a creative outlet that I found out about after finding his doodles on toilet paper rolls and random shit.
I remember seeing the pictures, the drawings in your
because when she moved in,
which is
I found some of your drawings and your pencils. So that's a creative outlet for you. So what do you look forward to next?
Right now, I'm just dicking around, just writing, kind of like giving my mind like a nice expanse as to where I want to put my creativity. I just write because I'm bored, and I read a lot, and I'm like, all right, this is fun. I'd like to create my own world. I doodle because it's just like something I do when I'm supposed to be paying attention, but I can't pay attention like that. I have to be active or I'm going to fall asleep.
Right.
I'm a sleepy guy.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. The shitty part is, I don't sleep much at night, but like throughout the day, at like lectures or meetings, I'm like out.
Yeah.
But right now I'm looking at possibly throwing my hat in the ring, applying to Juilliard and trying to go to school there for acting. Yeah. Because I'm a pretty kooky guy.
So we're going to bring Steve back actually for a segment we're going to call Bad Asian Lady or Bad Asian Father. We don't know yet, but Steve's a really good actor and guaranteed to make you piss your pants and laugh like out loud off your chair. And also, we didn't get to cover it much this time, but
he's a good singer too.
He's a great singer.
Thank you.
I do want to bring you back for another segment on depression since we didn't really get to cover that much of it for this, and that's such a major role with any disease or anybody going through anything. Go ahead, Patrick.
No, absolutely.
Oh, that's the second.
Steve, can you give us we're kind of like out of energy, I think, to do the Bad Asian Lady, but could you give us a little sample of some of your voices?
A little sample, yeah.
Give us the borderline racist Asian mom.
The borderline, okay, so like I'll give you some like an actual story that happened.
Okay.
So one time I was in the car with my mom and I had just gotten home from leave and she wanted to go visit her nail shop real quick, right? It's in Texas. There's 4 lanes on one side. There's 4 lanes on the other side. It's like a turn. to get into the fucking place, and we're on the far right lane. And I'm like, hey, isn't your shop right there? And she go, oh, motherfuck, shit. And she just fucking swings the wheel from all the way from the right lane.
Oh, my God.
All the way to the other side. We fucking cross 8 lanes of traffic with oncoming traffic. And we're in an SUV.
Oh, my God.
And my mom's like 4'11". We're going, and it's me and my buddy. And we're on leave, and I'm sitting there, and I'm holding on to the fucking handles in the fucking car. I can feel it, like, starting to tilt.
Oh, God.
And my mom gets in there, and she's like, oh, ha, ha. Did you die? Why are you so scared, Steven? I'm like, sitting there, there's fucking sweat on my face. I'm like, oh, my fucking God.
How old are you?
20? I just turned 20. I wasn't even old enough to drink yet.
Oh, my
I
God.
was fucking sitting there. And I'm like, you are the worst driver ever. And she goes, you always asked me to drive when you were younger. And I'm like, Ma, that's because you drove fast. I didn't know you were driving fucking reckless.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Did
so
you really
Steve
say,
has...
Did you die to you?
Yeah, she looks at me and she's like, did you die though? You okay? Steven, don't worry. I'm like sitting there. I'm not getting back in this fucking car with this woman.
So I definitely look forward to that and to have you back on for some other segments, veteran related.
Cool.
And a fitness one, since Patty Cakes needs to lose some weight.
Yeah, so I went to my doctor like maybe a month ago, and basically she told me I need to lose 20 pounds. But then I went to my husband's provider, and he was like, thick is sexy. So
Legit words out of the provider.
Yeah, he said thick is sexy.
Well, you can be thick and in shape.
You can be thick and in shape and have good labs.
Hello, me right here, thick and in shape. Hey.
So we're gonna end the episode now. Man, sharing this mic is a bitch.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? So I think maybe Steve should come up with a workout plan for Patty Cakes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carpal friendly.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And then to follow up, and then we'll bring Steve back on for a health segment. Because Steve's like an Olympic weightlifter, like legit. I see his videos. I'll post some links up. He's really amazing at what he does, and
I'm gonna love this follow up.
Well.
How was your social media? How was your social media challenge?
How about we get you on a workout too?
How was your social media challenge?
No, I'm good.
Did you fail?
I'm good.
Are we gonna try the 4th time again?
Ooh, you should do an 8-week
Time.
transformation. You should have a challenge where to see who can transform the
Oh
most in
my
8
God.
weeks.
Yes.
You two.
You 3.
I don't lose any more
This
weight.
bitch can lose weight like Mariah Carey and gain it back. So
Yeah.
he's not a good test
What about
subject.
your husband?
Yeah.
No, you two. Stop
Us
deflecting.
two. No,
Stop
don't deflect.
deflecting.
I think
Let me
3
see your gun.
people.
Oh.
Let me. We're in the same.
Oh!
Oh my God.
You're both are in the same trimester.
Oh my God. We both have the same amount of like tire fat.
Gut grab.
Literally gut grab. Look at this.
It's the same.
Yeah. So we're gonna definitely be doing this challenge.
That's some trailblazing tire thread right there, girls.
Yeah, we gotta put down what does the winner get?
The winner get
a whole spoiled pizza?
yes.
No, I
Or
can't
we
do
could
that.
take them to that nice
Don't take me
tapas
to food.
place.
Don't take
Oh,
me
yeah,
to
so
food.
take 'em to
Don't
tapas.
take me to food. I'm gonna gain weight back.
But to be honest, living here within the past 4 months, 3 months, I lost 20 pounds.
Yeah, because I told her.
But
Now
But
I'm
if we do this
140.
challenge, I have to make my own meals. You have to make your own meals.
Okay, no, that's not.
No.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
That's very true.
I'm
It puts a
starved
respect.
in the corner.
Then we both gonna be starving.
You'll
because
still
I can't-
lose weight.
If I can't cook and you can't cook, we can work this shit out.
Yes, I love this.
No.
I mean, I'll still do the grocery shopping because I banned Gladys on grocery shopping because she buys shit with cartoons on it, like the Donald Duck juice. I don't got time for that. I was like, what is this colored crap in my fridge?
Fucking Renee's like, hey, could you go get some yogurt? She comes back with bags of Go-Gurt.
Go-Gurt, yeah.
Bitch, are you out of your mind?
Only Siggies for me, okay?
Oh my
Danibles
God.
and what is the other one? The little pack of like crackers and like meats and stuff that she.
Oh,
brings.
Oh, yeah,
Lunchables.
Lunchables.
Lunchables. That's all she brings. Lunchables.
She got
Yeah.
fucking
Yogurt.
lunch meat in the house. It's like, that's not good food. And she's like, but I'm losing weight.
You asked me where I got the Doritos from?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I was like,
She puts
how
the
does she
used
know?
lunchbox back in the fridge, and I'm like, who the fuck does that with the dirty dishes in it?
Yo. That is foul.
I don't do that.
That is foul.
And in the main shelf too, I'm like in front of everything. Like at least be discreet about it.
She's like, fuck it.
She's not even trying to hide her shame. She's like, I'll just leave it here.
Omar, do you have something to say? I mean, does Patrick do that too?
He puts the dishes in the closet.
First of all, on the next episode of the Squishee Sandwich, we will be again discussing.
Omar, come on the mic.
We'll be
No, go.
Yes.
so
Omar?
on the next episode, we are gonna get to meet one of Steve's crazy characters, and also take the time to check out Steve's Instagram at Curious Lemur. I love that name.
I love that name.
I love that name too.
Thanks for co-signing
3
in a row. Steve, is there anything else you want to say?
If you have some sort of autoimmune disease, go get some behavioral health type help, because that shit is no joke. Your stomach is linked to your brain, and you need to make sure both of them are good, because it is fucking rampant with depression sometimes with people with autoimmune diseases. So be careful, kiddies.
All right. And definitely, we're on iTunes, people, and we're trying to get on the new and noteworthy. So please comment on any of our episodes. You don't even got to be part of iTunes. Just leave a comment to one of the episodes. We need at least 100, I think, to show.
As many as possible.
As many, yeah.
Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend.
Steal their phone, type it in. I don't care.
That's what I'm doing.
All right. Well,
Thank you so much for
remember to follow us at the Squishee Sandwich. We love you. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.